So maybe you agree with Jagmeet Singh of the NDP and Justin Trudeau of the Liberal government that owners of big grocery store chains are ripping off Canadian consumers, that they are jacking up their prices under the guise of inflation so they can increase their profits. Maybe you think the government needs to get involved, like Justin Trudeau threatened the other day, where he said, if the big grocery store chains don't bring down their prices by Thanksgiving, we might start taxing them. Now, I think that's a bit of a conspiracy theory, frankly. There are an awful lot of factors that go into the inflation in grocery prices and why the grocery prices are going up even faster than other prices. And most of the reasons are caused by government. But let's for a second say that Trudeau and Singh are right. The grocery store barons are taking advantage of Canadians. Do you think adding a food tax is going to help that in any way? The government would take money from the grocery store chain's profits. They would filter it through the gigantic bureaucracy that the Trudeau government has created. The government has grown 40% since Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister. We'll go into that enormous bureaucracy, grinding all that money down. And then you're going to get a check in the mail. Here's $250. Here's $100. Here's maybe $500 for your groceries. How in heaven's name is that going to help? There are, as I can see, about 5 big factors that the government itself can control in grocery store prices. Even if the big chains are taking advantage of Canadians, which I don't think they are, there are 5 things the government can do. It could get rid of its carbon tax. That's the biggest single factor in driving up grocery prices. Farmers have to pay carbon taxes, not just on the equipment that they run around in their fields, but in their drying machinery, in their chicken barns, in their cattle barns, in their milking barns. All of farming pays enormous carbon taxes, and those taxes get passed on to consumers. Then the truck drivers who have to bring all the produce to market, they have to pay a carbon tax. And the grocery stores themselves have to pay a carbon tax. And you have to pay a carbon tax to drive to the grocery store. Now, granted, that's not shown up in the prices, but there's carbon tax at every stage in grocery production and retailing. Get rid of the carbon tax. That would be a big way of bringing down food prices. High interest rates. Lots and lots of times in grocery stores and in farming, there is inventory that's purchased by loans. Well, the government's responsible by its high spending and its inflationary practices for driving up interest rates. Then there's supply management. You can't buy eggs, dairy, and a lot of other products in Canada through a competitive market. Everything is controlled by government monopolies. That drives up the price. Get rid of supply management. There were lockdowns during the pandemic, which messed up the supply chain. Now, you hear about the supply chain less these days, but still, one of the reasons that grocery store prices went up as much as they did initially were the lockdowns that caused all of these supply chain disruptions. That's a worldwide problem. I grant you, that's not something that just the Trudeau government did, but they need to fess up to the fact that when they got involved in that, it added to grocery store prices. And the final one that I can count on is pandemic supplements, pandemic subsidies for individuals. The government gave out so much money. Canada, on a per capita basis, gave away more money in pandemic subsidies than any other country in the world. The Trudeau government jacked up our national debt by hundreds of billions of dollars so they could give away money in pandemic subsidies. That created an awful lot of extra money in the economy that consumers had to bid up prices for goods. And that added to inflation too. The government has done as much to raise the cost of groceries as any grocery store robber baron. And they need to fess up to that and do the things they can to bring prices down. For Post Media, I'm Lorne Gunter.